In this presentation, we look to the art of northern Italy, and more specifically the Venetian painters. It behooves us to set in place the long history that had intervals of enlightenment as regards painting. When the times of heightened inspiration emerged, it was of its own peculiar form. Venice was isolated by location and allowed to prosper on its own terms. There came to Venetian art in the various periods classicism, romanticism, and academic influence. As the 19th century wore on, there came rapid changes. Once Venice had regained her liberty and had become united in spirit with the life of the rest of Italy, her artists came once more to see with independent eyes the splendour of their city, the grace and the strength of the inhabitants. With the art of Vincenzo Cabanca, born in 1827, who would be part of the Macchioli movement, which we will cover in another presentation, and with artist Giacomo Favretto of a generation later, there was a renewal of life, splendour, and truth. Favretto was an energetic artist with something of the spirit of Carlo Goldoni, the Italian playwright most famous for his best-loved plays, born in Venice in 1707. So now, once more, we have in Venice the chief centre of pictorial activity that Italy can boast, a fact to which the highly interesting international art exhibitions would bear witness. Giacomo Favretto was born in 1849, and like Fortuny entered the world of art as a victor, but was snatched from it when barely 37 after a most brilliant career. Not only did he labour under the disadvantage of poverty, for his parents were poor, and his youth was full of privations, but he lost one eye in an unfortunate accident. Even this, however, did not hinder him from seeing everything under the most alluring brightness of colour. He made a serious study of the Venice of the 18th century, whose customs and manners he knew as well as those of his own time. He made the bridges of Venice almost his special province, filling them with cheerfully adorned figures, giving them all the light and colour, the animation and vivacity to be found only in this city of the Adriatic. Among his canvases may be mentioned the Friday Market from the Rialto Bridge, a charming painting with rich colouring, followed by Susanna and the Elders, with a striking realism that is fully animated, superbly designed, and the well-portrayed eager gentlemen, who are obviously enchanted. Another is the scene of a young woman busy with a torn garment titled "The Torn Sleeve," a rich composition of a solitary figure that is intimate and immediate. Favretto had a manner quite his own. He drew brilliantly well, and his painting was perhaps a little more serious and less dramatic than that of Mario Fortuny. As a colourist he possessed great distinction, and his craftsmanship was unexcelled. Even his thoughtful sketches are exciting to study. Favretto painted everything and anything that moved him, whether bronze-faced young sailors, fiery, beautiful, olive-toned women shooting the hot southern flame from their eyes. In short, he has caught the characteristics of the locality of Venice with unerring instinct. Most of the modern Italian painters gave their works a kaleidoscopic sparkle of colour, almost like the mosaic of precious stones. As a rule, the pictures contain canopies, priests and choristers, the country folk kneeling or bowing, when the host is carried by weddings and country festivals. In short, it was the joyous outdoor life of the city and country under brilliant sunshine, and of course always with vivid tints. A whole crowd of painters of this style of subject have made their appearance, and most of the middle-aged ones studied or were influenced in Fortuny's studio, learning those bright colour scales so suitable for reproducing in Italy's brilliantly picturesque life. We can see in Favretto's work he was unafraid to tackle difficult viewpoints or groupings of crowds on his canvas with ease. The people are believable and wander about in the composition, so that the technique does not interfere or dominate all works together plausibly, but the brushwork is at the same time rich in texture and nuanced colouring. When the artist is in sympathy with his model, He secures a sympathy with his model, he secures a result surpassed by no up-to-date painter. When his work, on the contrary, is of a mechanical nature, so far as likeness is concerned, there is always a wonderful artistic touch that stamps him master in his own unique way. Astonishingly good as are Favretto's best portraits, however, they do not exceed the charm of his genre work, in which by the simple arrangement of one or more figures, nearly always of women in attractive modern or period costume, much grace of pose and beauty of colour scheme, he secures delightful compositions for which connoisseurs are eager to compete. And again, excellent as these are, his landscape work is quite as virtuous. Whatever he paints, a portrait, a figure, or a landscape, he invariably secures the character. And to his really marvellous technical skill he unites a sense of artistic fitness. Most unusual and always highly agreeable, one may not pass by his slightest contribution to an exhibition, for he has a unique distinction and pause to give careful scrutiny. In addition to his famous Venetian courtyard scenes of St. Mark's Square, his little views of domestic life are very personable and relatable even to the present day, where many are drawn back to a much simpler life, doing simpler things, even to the point of leaving home to camp, or otherwise travel with the suitcase in hand, with just a few things. Nature is always calling, and Favretto struck a chord on that belief very well. In the rather humorous painting of Gallery Visitors by Favretto, there is the sardonic and poignant idea of onlookers who must elbow their way to view postcard-sized pictures nestled in audacious 12-inch gold-leaf frames, all of which are stacked under, over, and beside each other. As we look at the next few paintings by Favretto, there is an interesting commentary made of the plight of the artist, and times as follows. This national characteristic of Italian painting is sufficiently explained by the entire character of the country. The Italian painter is not properly in a position to seek effects of his own and to make experiments. Hardly anything is bought for the galleries, and there are few collectors of superior taste. He labours chiefly for the traveller, and this gives his performances the stamp of attractive commercial wares. In general, he produces nothing that will not easily sell, and he has a fine instinct for the taste of the rich travelling public, who wishes to see nothing that does not excite cheerful and superficial emotions. The textual sources, for their part, to collect such art as that by Favretto, it remains an important fact that the astute collector realizes the value of talent. And that may be illustrated by an account in his youth, when Earl Antonio de Zanetti, seeing his early skills, allowed him to copy the engravings of Tiepolo and Rembrandt and the drawings of Longhi and Guardi belonging to his precious collection. His early training by age 15 was to provide the painter the drive and determination to reach for the stars, to understand the national character in Italian life. And this character, as stated, somehow makes an impact, for even in his short life his star remains bright. Although our look at the rare talent of Favretto was only a glimpse, we hope it will make many more aware of his work. So with that, thank you for subscribing, and be sure to check the link below for our special offers on e-books that are designed to inspire and help you in your need to see great art and learn from the artists themselves. So till next time, bye for now.